how many repayments have Ruth or Dale made you?
I will be honest, she made a payment to me of £20. I agreed to order the stuff on the belief that Ruth would be paying me back because she was my carer and would be receiving an income.
Who was the carer?
Ruth was my previous carer.
Oh, let's just pause. Were you in receipt of extra benefit as a result of being the named carer, as a result of being Emma's main carer? Bear in mind, I can check this.
Yeah, after about 5 months of caring for her, that's when I started getting money.
Just pause. You started getting some extra money.
Yeah.
Okay. So am I right that you believed that this extra money that Ruth was in receipt of as a result of being your official carer would go towards paying for the things that you were ordering?
Yes, she was going to be backdated from the day she became my carer.
Ruth, to your reply, and I want to frame it in the way that you have to me. You put it very simply, as far as you're concerned, not only is she not entitled to the money, but, I'll put it frankly, she doesn't deserve it. Now, I want you to explain to me why that's the case, please.
Because I trusted her with my daughter, and...
On many occasions.
And this one time, I did trust her. I got a phone call at 10:30 telling me that my daughter was in hospital. Thank you.
You ended up at the hospital?
Yeah, I got to hospital about 12:15.
And who was at the hospital?
My mum.
That right?
Yeah.
You telephoned her mum to be there?
Because she was nowhere to be seen.
Just pause. Be quiet. And as a result of what they saw, they had some concerns, which eventually have to triggered an inquiry by social services, correct? Which, to be absolutely clear, resulted in no action whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you discovered what had happened that triggered that investigation. What had happened to your baby? Why did you understand the baby had been taken to hospital?
She was took there for no reason. There was nothing wrong with her.
No, but what did you understand was the reason? What had you been told?
Because apparently she had a high temperature.
Now, the inquiry came to nothing. So it was traumatic, but eventually the reality is things are happy now, right?
Yeah.
Case closed. Emma, what happened with the little girl?
When I got hold of Ruth and I said she was at the hospital, that Lex was at the hospital, she says, oh, it's probably a viral infection, love, don't worry about it.
Who said that?
Ruth said that to me. It's probably a viral infection, hon, don't worry about it. And then when the doctors refused...
How would she know it was a viral infection?
Because she's had them before. She said it would have been a third one.
Just pause. No. Has baby ever been to doctor?
She has had one viral infection before, and if any person that's got a baby knows, when a baby's got a high temperature, strip them down. She's teething. Give her some Calpol.
Ruth,
What need was there for her to take her to the hospital? The reason Lexi went to the hospital and I had to stay in overnight is because of her.
Now, at some point there was a social services investigation. It was a thorough investigation, and for the avoidance of any doubt, no further action was taken whatsoever. Emma, Ruth. Emma, you've brought a very simple claim. Are you in pain?
I'm fine. Every day in pain.
Emma, Ruth, you've brought a claim against Ruth, which on the face of it is a very simple one. Ruth, your reply is not simple. Your claim, Emma, is effectively you extended credit on Ruth's behalf by buying things from a catalogue and got into considerable debt. And at the time you did that on Ruth's behalf to buy a washing machine and various other goods, Ruth knew that that was a loan and that these were never, ever gifts. You got absolutely nothing in writing, nothing on paper whatsoever. Ordinarily, that would be the start, the middle and the end of your case. Because when you do things for friends and you get nothing in writing, the reality is that ordinarily the courts come to a view, there's no contract between you. In this instance, bearing in mind what both sides say about it, in order to come to an assessment of your claim, I have to look at what's called the prevailing circumstances upon which this money or this credit, these things, were given to Ruth. And the circumstances are these. Firstly, that I'm perfectly satisfied you in no way had sufficient funds to buy these things. I'm also completely satisfied that these goods, for example, the jogging pants, were not for your purposes. In addition to that, I'm also satisfied that, as far as you were concerned in any event, Ruth was expecting a windfall payment for caring for you, which actually she ended up receiving. And thirdly, it seems to me that at least in one instance, Ruth, by her own admission, made a £20 repayment for the washing machine.
Yes, she did.
In those circumstances, by the narrowest of margins, on the balance of probabilities, so I'm more sure than not, I do believe you purchased these items not as a gift for Ruth or for her partner or for her daughter, who I accept you cared for greatly, but as part of a loan. And in those circumstances, there is really no response that Ruth has, save to say that the money she may have intended to go to you ended up being spent on something else. And so to that extent, in respect of your claim for the loan of £514.94, your claim is successful, and this court will award you £514.94 for those goods. However, I have to be absolutely clear. I have grave concerns that money which is intended, which is paid for by the public for you, for your care, instead of being used for your care, is being used for goods and services for other people. That's really a very serious thing to do, and I'm extremely concerned about it.
I don't receive that.
Be
money.
quiet. For more Judge Rinder cases, click here. And if you've got a legal issue yourself, get in touch with us by clicking over here.